What's up guys, I'm Linus Sebastian, and today I'm going to be replying to my top 1,000 YouTube comments. You guys did not tell me that was what was happening today. I'm not doing 1,000 comments. We're going to do some though. It's going to be great. Following comments came from the most viewed video on your channel. What video is it? This is going to be from my Strange Parts Building a PC in China video.
Holy shit, is this thing like $300?
$300, yep.
Wow! How much is a Ferrari, definitely real Ferrari power supply to go with it? Dang.
If I could pick a most viewed video on my channel, this wouldn't be it. That was one of the few times in my life that I have been as frustrated making a video as I was yesterday making the video that I was working on until 3 in the morning last night. It was my collab with Strange Parts, and we were about half of the way through our scheduled shoot. I had a plane to get on out of the country, and we basically had no video. So we pivoted, we did a completely different concept. I was supposed to be trying to build a computer using all parts, weird Chinese parts I didn't recognize, and then we went to the tech mall and it turned out it was all just the same stuff at the same prices as if I was in Aberdeen Center in Richmond, British Columbia.
None of this is off-brand. This is like Lenovo, Samsung, Asus, Dell.
Here's one of the first comments on that most viewed video. You know, you guys aren't gonna have an easy time surprising me because I actually read probably a solid 50 to 70% of the comments on the channel still. So, let's see how this goes. Linus is so stressed out in the beginning. LMAO, edit, JK, he's stressed the whole time. That pretty much sums up that video. If you watch the uncut footage of that, I'm freaking out the whole time. It's even worse. I'm like, Scotty, I don't think there's a video here. We're just building a computer. It's nothing. Yeah, it's not my finest work. There's a lot of comments on that video pointing out what a dick I am. I like to think that I'm not. I was just having a rough day. And don't worry, me and Scotty are good. We're good. Next question. The following comment came from the second most viewed video on my channel. What video is it? It's got to be the fire truck. Oh, 16K Gaming might have overtaken it. It's got to be the fire truck still. Sorry. Okay. Here's one of the most liked comments on that video. Yes, please, hit me with it. Everybody is asking why this is the most popular video, and I don't see a single answer, so I'll ask. Why is this Linus's most popular video? Look, I only made this video because the product manager for Arctic Cooling, who makes heat sinks like that Arctic Cooling for computers, had for whatever reason gotten it into their heads that they could source cheap RC crap from China, rebrand it Arctic Hobby, which as far as I could tell was only present on the actual box, not even on the product itself. They didn't even bother to go that far. And she brought in a bunch of units for the holiday season, and we couldn't get rid of them or something, and she wanted a push, and so she was like, can you make videos about these? And I was like, fine, I've got to hit my video quota anyway. I don't even care if it performs like garbage, whatever. I'm just gonna upload spam on the channel. It ended up being my top viewed video for almost a decade. The only possible explanation that I can come up with is that small children on like YouTube Kids or something are just interested in fire trucks, and this video comes up. Oh yeah, I haven't shown you guys the horn yet. Hold on, wait for it. The watch time stats are terrible. The engagement is terrible. Like, for the number of views on this video, the number of comments makes no sense. Like, it looks like I paid for the views. It looks like I boosted it. And the like-dislike ratio is awful. Nobody understands why this is the most viewed, well now second most, thank goodness, most viewed video on the channel. It's inexplicable. YouTube's algorithm works in mysterious ways. That's the only explanation I can offer. Here's the next one. This is the first video posted to your YouTube channel 12 years ago. Yes, it is. The undisclosed AMD processor with the electrical tape on the screen. I have been questioned about my results on an undisclosed AMD processor. Tell us the story behind the first video you ever posted to your channel. AMD told me, if you show the model number of this thing, you are never getting an early sample of a CPU ever again. And I took that very seriously, so seriously that I couldn't trust myself to not accidentally show it, so I put tape on that screen. You can see the CPU details, well, the ones that I haven't blacked out right here, to make sure that it wouldn't get leaked. And of course, I had no video editing skills, so blurring it in post was not an option. This is the very first comment ever posted on your channel. Oh man, is it gonna be acknowledging the cheesy laugh track, or I don't know, it's probably just hashtag first. All right, hit me. CPU Z 1.41. So I was probably being lazy, and I was probably just using the USB drive that I carried around in my pocket to load all of my essential applications on this test rig. So it was probably an out-of-date version of CPU Z, which is a utility for reading the specs of the CPU from within Windows. I'm sorry, Gollum72002, appropriate username by the way. I can't imagine why they felt the need to post that. I can't imagine why most people post YouTube comments. I mean, I read them, but I think most YouTubers don't. And even I almost never reply to them. And so many of them are like directly addressing the host of the video as if they are expecting a reply. And it's like, how many times are you gonna post these, just sort of shouting into a void until you realize that nobody's gonna reply to it, unless of course Ars Technica calls up and is like, yo Linus, we dug through your channel and we found some comments for you to reply to. Even then, that's like a one in a million shot. All right, what's next? Here are some of the most liked comments on the first video. Thank you for joining me. Crash. And thus a legend was born. I have always loved that kind of camp humor and that style. Thank you for joining me. The potty humor too. It's really amusing to me because like I said before we started, I read a good 50 to 70% of the comments on the channel. And so I very often see the one that goes, you know, I used to like Linus when he was serious about reviewing tech and didn't have all the childish jokes in the videos. I says, pardon? Because it's always been like that. Day one, the first 5 seconds of the first video on this channel has me turning around doing an, oh, I didn't see you there, bumping the table and a laugh track going off. What did you think you were subscribing to? Tell us about the trope of you dropping things. Whoa! Oh no! To build something that, wow. There have probably been about, I don't know, 2 or 3 instances of me actually dropping something on purpose. And it's not that I'm particularly clumsy. I'm actually fairly well coordinated as a human being. I just am often in a hurry and distracted, and I'm a fidgeter. So you combine being in a hurry, being distracted, and fidgeting with things, you end up dropping a lot of stuff. Okay, well that was exciting. What's the priciest thing you've dropped either on or off camera over the years? Well, I know that off the top of my head. It was an Intel Xeon Platinum 8180. That's a 28-core processor that was worth about $10,000 at the time that I dropped it. And the reason it stands out to me so much is that aside from the price, I really needed it for a project. Intel wouldn't send me a new one because they were like, seriously, dude. For real? No. And because it was one of the few CPUs that I have dropped, I have actually dropped multiple CPUs, but it's one of the few that I have dropped that actually was destroyed. Unless it's got pins on the bottom, a CPU, if you just drop it onto like a carpeted floor, very unlikely to be damaged. But it wanged something on the way down, and it actually kind of separated some of the layers of the substrate, and it does still work, but one of the memory channels is dead. And you're not gonna use like a $10,000 CPU with like a busted memory channel. You got that kind of budget. You know, what is it? You know, you're gonna go shopping at Phil's discount $10,000 CPUs. Oh, it's only $8,000. It's missing a memory channel. Like, it's basically a write-off at that point. It's painful memory. All right. The following comments came from your exposed studio tour videos. Those are so much fun to make. Exposing Dead Mouse's studio. Spoiler, he's a huge geek. Totally true. This was so much fun to make. Joel was kind enough to give us an in-person demo of how something like this works.
So I'm just going from one module to the other. If I just say,
sure.
And now I want to change the pitch of it to be like a tune, right? So this is a 1V oct, which means 1 volt per octave.
Some of the most liked comments on the Dead Mouse studio tour. Please respond. When deadmau5 composes music, power in my city goes out. Yeah, it sounds about right. That guy's place, and not just when he's composing music, right? Like when he fires up the LAN center in his basement, or like that helmet that he wears, that thing's probably got enough LEDs in it to light up a city block. Like for real, there was so much that I wasn't able to include in the video because I was supposed to be there for, I think like a 4-hour shoot or something like that, 4 to 6 hours. Like it was supposed to be in and out. And then as soon as I came in and I started talking to him about the stuff that he really wanted to talk about, like we hit it off as soon as I walked into his recording room, and I was like, man, where are all the cable runs for all this stuff? And he was like, I'm so glad you asked. Let me show you, because that was quite a thing for me to solve. And so we ended up there for like 14 hours. I didn't leave till like 2 in the morning or something like that. There is so much material that will never see the light of day. But let me just say this, he's a super cool guy and I like and respect him a lot. Finest socks and sandals on for this occasion. Of course, I gotta dress up if I'm gonna be hanging out with the one and only deadmau5. You know, my Canadian music kin. That's just what I wear, unironically, all the time. I've been meaning to make a video about it with the 10 reasons why socks and sandals are superior to any other style of footwear. I shouldn't use the word style. Any other type of footwear. Let's leave style out of it. But I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I will someday, I promise. Next question. Exposing MKBHD's fake videos. Does he even shoot at 8K? Yes, he does. So this is it, the MKBHD studio, every bit as stylish and immaculate as it appears in the videos, at least on the surface. But there were lots of other things that disappointed me. Here are some of the most liked comments on the MKBHD studio tour. Please respond. Orders one $8,000 red cable tie. That does seem like the kind of thing he would do, but knowing him personally, he's actually a little bit more practical about certain things. I think he probably went with cable ties from lttstore.com. Actually, those are really expensive cable ties, so he probably got cheaper ones. According to Marquez, you recently pranked him by putting a sub to LTT plate on his Tesla and a pack of Linus Tech Tips underwear on the hood. Can you tell us the story? All right, so we were having a friendly race, which I thought would be closer. It ended up being kind of a one-horse race. He won, to 10 million subscribers. And as part of that, I had really wanted to do some kind of in-person prank, because I knew that would be totally unexpected. We lived like 3,000 miles apart or something like that. So it just happened that I was in town for a sponsored video and checking out the Looking Glass holographic display, and I had like 2 hours or something like that. We had to jet over to Kearney, and I distracted him. I made sure he was at the studio by claiming I was gonna borrow a phone from him, and then I went up, and my guys went, found his car in the parking lot, decorated it, and then we bailed. And then we were just like sitting there watching Twitter for like the entire rest of the evening. When is he gonna leave the office? That guy is like a workaholic. He didn't leave the office till like 11 p.m. or something stupid like that. And then finally, we were like, yes, got him. But then he won, so got him. You could say his retaliation was beating me to 10 million subs. But I don't know when this video is gonna come up. It might be already past by the time it does, but I think I might beat him to 11. Whose home studio or company do you wish you could tour? I could give you like a silly answer, but I'm actually gonna give you the straight one, just in case someone who can hook me up with this sees this video. I want to see a fab at TSMC or Intel. Those are some of the most secured places on the planet, and I would give, maybe not my right nut, but probably my left nut, to be able to go in there and make a video about how it really ticks. Oh, well, I double-clicked, it's gone. There we go. Answer the following comments as quickly as possible, because otherwise we'll be here all day. Fair enough. But does it run Crisis? Yes. But is the RGB RGB? Yes, of course. What's next? RGB socks and sandals? We are working on sandals. It's hard. Hi, Linus. I was just wondering, do I really need the wristband my friend told me to buy? I mean, it was only $5, but I never see you wearing one. It's supposed to be safe for your part, so I didn't hesitate to buy it. Yeah, it can't possibly hurt anything to use an ESD wrist strap. I just am lazy, so I often don't put them on, part of the whole being in a hurry thing. When I'm actually trying to do things right, though, I prefer to have my hands unencumbered, so I like to wear it on my ankle. You forgot one of the stats, Linus. How many Lambos do you own now? I actually don't even own the original Lambo anymore. I'm a Lambo-free man. But the real question here is Linus wearing LTT underwear? All right, well, you knew this was going to happen. Here we go. Oh, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't good enough for me to wear, I wouldn't put it on the store. I could have done this without undoing the belt. To conclude, we found these comments on your recent 10 million subscribers video. Are they from people who didn't watch the whole thing? Because I happen to know for a fact that only 20% of people watched the whole thing and got to the end where I said, no, I'm not in fact retiring. So half the comments are like, is he retiring?
So I'm not retiring. That's why the stream, which is not clickbait, is titled, I've been thinking of retiring.
Linus, out of 23,000 comments, you're probably not going to read this. I probably did. I read almost every comment on that video. But I want you to know that you probably single-handedly inspired me to pursue a career in computer engineering. You're awesome. Thank you, Liam. And those, honestly, are the kinds of comments that are the most meaningful in what we do. Those are the ones that remind me that we're not just goofing around on camera, playing with technology. And I get them, actually, surprisingly often, which is kind of what keeps me doing this. The fact that people are pursuing degrees in everything from electrical to electronics engineering to computer engineering to system administration roles. It seems to me that Linus Tech Tips, for all of its fumbles, does seem to be growing tech as a whole, and that's what it was all about from the very beginning. Making money, of course. It's always been a business, and just sharing my love for technology, because I wouldn't have been chosen for the video role at NCIX if I wasn't one of the only people in the business team who actually cared about this stuff. You changed my life. I was stuck in a dead-end job, then one day I stumbled across this channel and it taught me everything I know about PCs. I left my job I hated to work for a local tech company where I build PCs all day with like-minded people, and it's because of you I'm now happier than ever. You know what? That's basically my story. I've talked about this a little bit in the past, but the thing that always made me happy was hanging around on the NCIX Tech Tips forum back when I was in high school and I was starting at university. And my job that I hated was running a painting business, painting houses with one of those like student painting companies. I'm not down on them or anything. I just wasn't ready for that kind of burden. I got stressed out, I got depressed, and the only thing that ended up making me happy was running away from it, which wasn't a responsible thing to do. I violated the terms of my contract. I shouldn't have done that on paper, but I don't know if I would have made it if I didn't do it. So I ran away. I got a job at the local computer store. You might have heard of them, NCIX, and the rest is history, right? You got to do what you love. It's been a month or two since I made that video, and I will say that the mental readjustment that I resolved to make at that time has actually been going pretty well for me. I've been enjoying my time self-quarantining. You can see I'm working out of my home right now rather than the office. I've been working more, but I've also been enjoying work more. You know, having to do everything myself, getting my hands dirty a little bit more, spending less time with the businessy stuff and more time just playing around with tech and making videos. So if you guys were worried that I was going to be retiring anytime soon, put it out of your mind, because yeah, that ain't happening. I need to go get my doorbell. Hey, Matthias. Yeah, this is the workstation, and here, you can take this box too. This is part of it. Oh yeah. I was sitting on a monitor box the whole time.